Hi everyone. Welcome to our presentation from Group 1. There are 6 of us here. That's Adela, Aiza, Anis, Aini, Kriti, and myself, Suzanne. Today, we're very excited to present because this case study and of our assignment, we have our very own test subject that's among us. So you will find out who's the test subject soon. But before that, let me give you an introduction. So behaviors are action, reactions, and mannerisms that can be observed and measured and developed through a variety of combination, biological, environmental, and sociological factors. But of course, the common debate is always, are behaviors nature or nurtured? Which is more predominant? While there will be no affirmation as to whether it is nature or whether it is nurtured, both play a very strong role in positive and negative learning. And through various of mechanisms like classical conditioning, operant conditioning, and observational conditioning. Now, does habit happen through behaviors? Does behavior contribute to have the developments of habit? For sure. Habits are formed through repeated behaviors, consistently and frequently, hence, eventually, an ingrained habit is developed in us. Now, habits and behaviors are detrimental because they are positive and negative. Whether it's positive or negative, if ever there is a need for a change, we can. Now, there are variety of factors and efforts that can contribute to the change, like awareness, motivation, strategies, practice, and the environment. Now, to evaluate even further into what I've just explained, let's present Isa in the following findings. Go ahead, Isa.
Okay, thank you, Suzanne. Hello, everyone. Today, I will be presenting our group analysis on the target behavior, which is nail peeling refers to the acts of repeatedly picking or removing parts of the fingernails using finger or teeth. The behavior is considered unhealthy as it can cause pain, bleeding, or even infection, and it often happens when a person feels stressed or anxious. Through our functional analysis, we identify four possible causes of this behavior: sensory reinforcement, attention, escape of or avoidance, and tangible factor. Among these, the strongest cause was sensory or automatic reinforcement, meaning the person peels their nails to relieve stress, tension, or boredom. After 2 weeks of observation, we found that the frequency of nail peeling reduced from 19.6 times per day to 9.9 times per day, which is almost 49.6 decrease. This show that our behavior modification plan, which included rewards and stress relief activities, was effective in reducing the behavior. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Isa. That's a very interesting finding indeed. Now we move on to further evaluation from Adila.
Thank you, Suzanne. Hi, everyone. So, before we start, let me be honest. The test subject was me. So that everything that recorded in this behavior modification program is based on my nail peeling habit. So let us see that what is the objective of the behavior change. So our main goal was to reduce my frequency of nail peeling within 2 weeks and then replace it with a healthier alternative behavior. And to achieve this, we have set several specific objectives. First, we aim to identify the frequency and triggers of the nail peeling through daily self-monitoring. And then second, we apply reinforcement strategy to encourage a significant reduction in nail peeling behavior. Next, we also introduce alternative behaviors such as using stress ball or applying lotion whenever there is the urge to peel occur. So last but not least, We compare the pre and post treatment progress to evaluate the overall effectiveness of our behavior modification program. So this objective help us to stay focused, not only reducing the behavior, but also help us to understand the triggers, and then we replace it with the healthier coping strategies. So this is the situation before the treatment. Before starting the treatment, we conduct 1 week observation period from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. I'm the one that recording the nail peeling episode every day. So during this time, the total of 137 nail peeling episodes were recorded, which made the average of 19.57 times per day. The most common trigger was studying, working, driving, and scrolling on the phone. As all these situations where the attention and focus were required. In terms of the emotional state, the participant, which is me, often reported feelings of anxiety, boredom, stress, and fatigue. So this observation helped us to understand that nail peeling was often linked to emotional discomfort and stress relief, which guided the design of our treatment plan later on. Thank you. That's all from me.
Wow, Adela, even while scrolling your phone, you can think about peeling your nails. That's talent. Well, next, Kriti and her explanation of matter.
Thanks, Susan. Hi, everyone. In this part of the presentation, I'll be talking about the treatment application that was used in my behavior modification project. The main goal of my project was to reduce the habit of nail peeling by using a behavioral approach. For this purpose, I used behavioral conditioning with the help of positive reinforcement and habit reversal training, also known as HRT. These two methods were applied together to decrease the rate of nail peeling and replace it with healthier alternative behaviors. Before the treatment started, I observed and recorded my behavior for 1 week from the 6th to the 12th of October 2025. During this time, I tracked the number of nail peeling episodes and identify what situations and emotion triggered the behavior. The results showed that the average number of episodes per day was 19.57, and the total number of episodes was 137 in the week. Most of the nail peeling happened during activities such as studying, working, driving, or scrolling on my phone. I also noticed that the behavior usually occurred when I felt anxious, bored, or stressed. Understanding these triggers was a very important first step because it helped me recognize the emotional causes and situations that led to the behavior. After identifying the triggers, I started the treatment phase. The first method I applied was positive reinforcement. This technique focused on rewarding myself whenever I successfully reduced my nail pulling behavior at the end of each day. The rewards were simple and personal, such as watching a show I like, listening to music, or writing down some self praise in a progress chart. The small rewards encouraged me to continue the positive behavior. According to B.F. Skinner's theory of operating conditioning, behavior that is followed by pleasant consequences is more likely to be repeated, and this was exactly what happened during the process. The second method I used was habit reversal training, or HRT. This method focused on replacing the nail peeling habit with a more adaptive and healthy response. It consists of three main steps. The first step was awareness training, where I practiced noticing when the urge to peel my nails appeared and what situation made me want to do it. The second step was called competing response practice, where I placed the behavior with something else, like squeezing a stress ball, rubbing my hands with lotions, or taking deep breaths. The final step was relaxation strategies, where I practice breathing exercises or mindfulness techniques to stay calm, especially during stressful moments. These techniques help me become more aware of my triggers. Uh, um, sorry, of
No
my
worries,
triggers.
go ahead, Kriti.
and allowed me to interrupt the behavior before it actually happened. During the second week of the process, from the 13th to the 19th of October 2025, I continue to observe myself and record my daily progress using the same format. Each time I successfully controlled my urge to peel my nails, I immediately rewarded myself. This consistent self monitoring helped me strengthen my control and motivated me to keep practicing the new coping strategies. In summary, the treatment application involved two behavioral methods, which is the positive reinforcement and habit reversal training. Both techniques work together to help reduce the frequency of the nail peeling habit and promote emotional awareness, self control, and positive behavioral change. So now I'll be continuing with the second part of my presentation, which focuses on the after treatment results and evaluation of my behavior modification project. After completing 1 week of treatment using positive reinforcement and habit reversal training, there was a significant reduction in the nail peeling behavior. Before the treatment, there were 137 nail peeling events, but after 1 week of applying the treatment, the number went down to 69 events with an average of 9.86 episodes per day. This shows that the treatment successfully reduced the behavior by almost half in just 1 week. Apart from the reduction in frequency, there were also noticeable emotional improvements. I felt more aware of my actions, more emotionally controlled, and less anxious in situations that previously triggered the habit. I became more conscious of when the urge appeared and found it easier to manage my stress using the competing responses I had practiced earlier. Looked Looking at my observation notes after the treatment, the progress can clearly be seen. For example, on Monday, I recorded 13 episodes while working, studying, and scrolling on my phone, but I already felt more focused and aware of my urge. On Wednesday, I recorded 15 episodes when I was slightly anxious, but I managed to use my coping method successfully. By Friday and Saturday, the number of episodes dropped further to just 6 and 5, and I felt more relaxed and calm with very minimal urge to peel my nails. By the end of week, I could see that my emotional state had improved and I felt calm, focused, and relaxed compared to before when I often feel anxious, bored, and stressed. This emotional progress supported the overall reduction in behavioral frequency. To summarize, the overall results are before the statement, there were 137 total episodes with an average of 19.57 per day, and I often felt anxious and stressed. After treatment, there were 69 total episodes with an average of 9.86 per day, and I felt calmer and more focused. This clearly shows that the combination of positive reinforcement and habit reversal training was effective in helping me reduce the habit and develop healthier ways to manage my emotions. In conclusion, this project has shown that consistent self monitoring, awareness of triggers, and positive reinforcement can create meaningful behavioral change. It also helped me understand that even small rewards and mindful actions can make a big difference in improving self control and emotional well being. Thank you.
Wow, the results are really, really amazing. And now let's go further on with more analysis from Anis.
Thank you, Suzanne. Okay, next I'll be sharing about other possible treatment that could help reduce the nail peeling behavior even more. One option is cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT. This helps to change negative thought that trigger the urge to peel nails. For example, instead of thinking I need to peel to feel calm, the person learns to replace it with a healthier thought like I can relax without peeling my nails. Another method is response cost, where a reward of privilege is removed each time the nail peeling happens. This encourages self-control by linking the behavior to a small consequences. Next, we have behavior contracting, which involves a written agreement to have increased commitment and motivation toward behavior change. Lastly, time out from reinforcement can be used. This means temporarily removing the person from a situation that might be encouraging the behavior, helping to break the pattern over the time. This method can be used together with our main treatment to strengthen long-term change. Now let's now let's look at the evaluation of our treatment. Overall, the program was quite successful. It reduced nail peeling by 49.6%. The combination of habit reversal training and positive reinforcement was effective in helping Adila control the habit. Adila also become more aware of her triggers through self-monitoring and use competing responses like squeezing a stress ball help reduce automatic behavior. Relaxation exercise also help manage emotional triggers such as stress and boredom. However, we noticed that relapse still happened during stressful time and sometimes uh, progress tracking was inconsistent due irregular recording. So while we achieved short-term success, more effort is still needing for long-term maintenance. Continued practice, consistent monitoring, and stronger self-regulation strategies would help sustain the progress in the future. Thank you.
Indeed, nothing is impossible as long as we put our heart to it. And to finalize the continuation, we have Aini.
All right, thank you, Suzanne. So, after looking at the alternative treatments that could be used, I will now continue with the changes that can be met if this behavior modification program is continued in the future. As mentioned earlier in our presentation, even though the treatment was successful, the nail peeling behavior still appears when the participant is stressed or not focused. So to maintain long-term progress, a few improvements are needed. Our first strategy is stimulus control, which aims to reduce exposure to triggers like long nails or idle hands. The environment must also be arranged so that nail picking tools are removed and healthier alternatives are always available. Next is the token economy system. This means giving tokens as reward each time the participant successfully controls the urge. This token can later be exchanged for something meaningful which helps maintain motivation. Then we apply behavioral fading. This slowly reduces rewards over time so that self-control comes naturally instead of depending on rewards forever. Lastly, a relapse prevention plan is important to prevent going back to old habits. This includes in identifying a high-risk situation and preparing coping strategies before the behavioral returns. And with this improvement, the behavior change can be maintained for a longer period. So to conclude our presentation, I will now summarize the overall finding of our program. In conclusion, this behavioral modification program successfully reduced the nail peeling habit by 49.6% using habit reversal training and positive reinforcement. The program also increased self-awareness of triggers such as stress and boredom. However, some relapse still took place during emotional situations, which show that behavior change is a continuous process and not an instant result. Consistency and reinforcement are still needed to maintain progress in the long term. Overall, this program shows that behavior can be changed with the right strategies, self-control, and support. With patience and continuous practice, unhealthy habits can be reduced and replaced with healthier behavior. And that's conclude our report. Thank you.
It's quite amazing, and congratulations, Adela. You have done really, really well as our test subject and not peeling your nails anymore. So thank you everyone for listening, and thank you everyone for participating. We hope that we have developed and encouraged everybody to change any bad behavior or any bad habits. Thank you very much from Group 1. Okay, how many